Let's go on to the next one. All right, Michelangelo, you're next, brother. Anybody else, please raise your hand in the class. Just get that little hand up. We're going to go with Michelangelo. Michelangelo, please, brother. The floor is yours.
Good evening from Chicago, Indiana area, lovely soul sisters and bro stars. So I just have to bring up what I see is the future. And it's like almost I'm rewriting the future, because I actually see my future self from sometimes some like starships, but there's other beings on there, and there's like one of them is me. Now, I don't know if that's just a wild imagination, and that's why all the deja vus, like the Mandela effects, I would actually say that I was born in 76 and I've seen other people, and other people are thinking another thing and another thing. And it's like, what's going on here? It's multi-dimensional splits. Like I'm jumping from one lifetime or another dimension. So I'm a little confused there. It actually drives me nuts sometimes, thinking what's up with all these changes going on. So yeah, it's short. Yes. That.
Okay. Do you want an answer?
Yes, please.
I'll highlight some clarity for you, because you dropped a really good not really a question, but a statement with a question in with a statement and a question. You did a good mix here, but you've actually brought up a good highlight, something that I want to impress upon everybody, including yourself. We talked about a certain subject, and I mentioned in that short, brief segment of the class, I was talking about, when we talked about past, present, and future. I dropped a little knowledge nugget about future, past, present, and future. They're all coexisting in one timeline. We have past life, present life, and future lives. Well, if the past life lives in the present life, then the future life lives in the present life. But there are also these lifetimes, past, present, and future, all coexisting simultaneously. So the idea and the concept of, and here's another part of this process, is many of the memories for a lot of people who are waking up are seeing themselves in a ship. And the feeling that they get is that ship is coming from the future, which in essence is the timeline of the future self, which is the becoming of that incarnation, and you are here in this alignment and you're getting a glimpse of that. So I know that for a lot of people that rips the brains, kind of up, because it creates so many questions. There's so much confusion around this process. But like I said, part of what that is and what it really represents is it's just the snippet, and it's the building of integrating all lifetimes together. So when you're seeing that snippet of the future self and you're connecting the past life selves, you're actually creating a convergence between all of those energy bodies, and you're bringing it into this embodiment of that experience. So you're drawing in the gifts from the future self. You're pulling in the gifts from the past self, and you're rewriting the history. You're basically going through the insignias of healing these past lifetimes, healing these past emotional, connections, and you are doing the work from your perspective, while the future self is doing the work from his perspective. So the future self is affecting the present self. The present self is working through the past self, and those are all vice versa working together. And that's where, like I said, the memories start waking up inside of people, where they're starting to see little bits and pieces, either from past life, or in your case, what you're seeing in this experience is the present tense. So all of that stuff is converging together, part of the process of what I call is the process of soul integration. So soul integration is the embodiment of all. It is the all of the one. That's kind of the simplest answer that I can give to you.
Wow. Yeah, just wow. Yeah, that really drives in home to me from what I've experienced past lives and seeing future lives. And I'm just going to put it out there. I was in the Marine Corps. Most of my family's in the military. So I feel like I was definitely part of a program 100%. And that's why some stuff that I've seen and been through. But I'll just leave that out there. It kind of explains it. Or unless I'm just got a wild imagination, and that's why all this crazy stuff I see, like portals or stars, but like Aurora Borealis, and then like something would come out of it, and then be able to redirect what I would think would be a star, and feel a connection to a certain space out there that I'm supposed to be out there, but I'm here. And so it's like you just brought up, and then like the past. So you're 100% trying to, the oneness, I guess that's the God consciousness, probably, maybe.
Yes. So basically here, I'll just give you another point to this and a point of reference. All of the things that you're experiencing, and this is a part of the process that every person is going to go through, is what you're going to see is their pieces. And essentially what that is as the genetics of DNA reconstructs itself, you are basically seeing fragments. That's part of the awakening process. So for a lot of people too, when they're going through the process in their initial stages, what they're going to see is a bunch of images that don't make any sense. And a lot of the times it's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. None of this really makes sense. None of this is really all clicking together. And part of that, like I said, is the fragmentation. So as the body is going through its what we call the awakening, upgrading the cellular DNA, going through the awakening process, is the fragments are coming back together and the pieces are reconstructing through the process of the ascension. So what we get as the process is these little distortions, these little time capsules of information that's popping up and awakening, and it's basically leading you because like I said, we're the densest form of creation in the sense in a biological imprint. This was genetically modified. We used to be 12 strands, at 8 and 10 and 12 strands, and eventually through the modification process, we went down to 2. So we're sitting at the lowest amount. So basically, it's like from a higher self perspective, they're like, I kind of make it in a joking way, like they're spoon feeding us. They're like, here you go. Here's the airplane in the form of a vision. Here's the airplane in the form of an airplane to kind of, and you're like, give me more. I want more. So that's kind of what we go through. But you have to like I said, too much information is also not good. Because if we were to process and digest all of the frequency or to take in a full light body activation, we would explode. If your Kundalini activated at its full potential, it's like, okay, imagine your electrical grid system, like I was saying, your DNA is only built for two strands. So think of it like a grid system, right? Like an electrical pad, right? So you only have 2 active pads. The rest are empty. And then you say, I want all the electricity through the system. And the system pumps through, and it's only got two breakers. So it's like the analogy of taking a 10,000 volts of electricity and you're plugging it into a 120 volt socket. What do you think is going to happen when 10,000 volts of information plug into a 120 volt maximum output socket? It's going to explode, or the breaker snaps and it sends that frequency back down and says, cancel, cancel, cancel. And the system still needs to be rebuilt. So in the awakening process, that's the metaphor of what we're doing. We're rebuilding that electrical grid system each and every single day to be able to handle more light. And as a result of that process, we get more fractals. That's why you notice in your journey, you're getting more and more pieces. Usually the pieces create more questions than answers, which creates an incredible amount of frustration. I know what that feels like. But as you go through that process, you always have to remind yourself about, some things I'm just not meant to know, but I will know when I need to know it. And so I'll just discard that part and appreciate part of the process and continue moving on. That's the mantra and statement that I make, for myself, just to get through that process. Because like I said, all the pieces later will begin to come together and the picture will become more clear as you go through this process of ascension. So
one more thing. So this is a game, I see it as. I do see
sure
like
is
kind of an artificial intelligence that is not really siding with us, but the more that we can pull this manifestation, there's like some universal law that they can't hold the frequency, so we have to have our way. So it like causes a glitch in the system, this AI type system that's out there. It's beyond what we can comprehend what I can even think of the intelligence, but it all ties into all the shifts of what I see in history repeating itself from the past of disasters and stuff. It repeats itself. So I'm rambling. I don't know if I even made sense there, but do you experience something like that, that you actually have to trick the AI intelligence? You know, how, not saying they're for and against us, but I have an idea it has something to do with our awakening, reset, not to live in the fear. So if people want to live in fear, they're going to die in that fear and that reality. But if we say the world's not going to end in 18 years, there won't be like a plasma apocalypse or a phoenix, a big change or something, or Nibiru or something. We don't have to go along with that reality. As long as we hold the good vibration, do all the good stuff, we're protected by the great divine. Is that, I don't know if that makes sense.
You almost hit every nail. I'll give you a key point. Okay, first and foremost, the AI technology is being looked after by higher realms. Okay, so plain and simple, the technology, some of the technology is beyond the fathomable of our sort of level of understanding. So different groupings from different star systems have stepped in to aid in that process. There's two galactic wars that are going on, light and dark. This has been going on. This is the game of life that's been taking place. But what's happened over Earth is there are these systems that have been used to manipulate frequencies, once again, to keep humanity kind of stuck and sitting in that position. It's right now, it's a control of power that the dark is really playing for. But in regards to the AI, like I said, in the efforts, all of the steps and the necessary protections and aspects of dealing with that technology itself is all being done by different teams. That's not our responsibility. So I don't even put my head in there. I don't even get into it because, like I said, when you go into some of these technologies, they're so advanced, you can't even wrap your head around it. So why bother getting confused with it when you already know that your galactic team is doing that part of the process? As you exercise your ability, like I said, through the projections process, and you start going into the deeper realms of like I said, the ascension journey, you're going to start playing with the different systems. That's a world within the world. That's the like I said, we're just opening baby doors to the real quantum field of what's going on. And so part of the process that we're going through right now, from that collective side is the remembrance. And we have to bring all that information back before, like I said, we can continue the process. But like I said, we talked about the future self. The future self has your best interest in your mind. So like I said, keep it to the team, keep it to the future self. That's already taken care of. Focus on what's in your power and in your ability, and you're going to thrive. So the final statement that you were saying is true. Yes, on the head. Trust in this process, step into the divine, continue to work through your process of ascension, and don't worry about anything else like that overcomplicates the process of simplicity. Because I always find the more we complicate ascension, the more confused we get. We can only handle so much. The elastic band can only stretch so far. So we stretch it to its furthest capability of what we can conceive. We let it come back. We relax a bit. We take a rest. We give it a few days and we go back in again to see how much further we can stretch it. That's basically the module or the model of ascension itself.
Yes. Thank you so very much. You just brought it up where it made a lot of sense of it's a new concept where everyone else, this old paradigm shift needs to go, eventually slowly with their breadcrumbs catch up onto, and we're just there already, and we're here, like you said, planting the seeds, not to force anybody in anything, and show that love and light. Even though sometimes I want to slap some people really hard in the head as well, I hold back and just love them still. I laugh in my head about them like, silly. I actually say silly me. I see them as me. So yeah, I love you all.
That's beautiful, brother. Hey, love you too, man, and well said. It's folks, I'm going to put this out there, and we're going to call up Nicole next. Is, like I said, only master the place upon which your mind can handle. And that's what it's really about. Some of the deeper concepts that we go into, everybody has a specialty, and we have to work on that specialty that is unique for us. For Michelangelo, this might be the subject. I might be looking at somebody else like Nicole or Thomas, or somebody else might be saying, I'm not into that. I don't want to get there, don't want to go there, don't want to look at it. But this is my stuff right here. Let me get in there. And then me, I'm like, well, that's my stuff. And everybody's like, well, no, I ain't into that. Don't give me none of that. So we all have, like I said, we're all pieces of the puzzle, right? So we're all just part of that. And like I said, at the end of the day, the most important part is to simplify the process. The simpler we can do this, the better it's going to be for ourselves. So I don't